the style, Jackson came across a few other components that would be essential to the developing art.
Got to know Greg Jackson probably through Chris Lutrell early, like 1993.
I was the very first black belt, although there's 3 original black belts. We argue over that. I'm going to claim the #1 position. Of course, if you talk to Brad Aaronsfield, Tom Vaughn, they're going to claim the #1. But yeah, I'm one of the original 3.
Started with Jackson with Greg back in '94. He was working out of a kickboxing school off of Central.
The UFC started up. I had been kickboxing for a long time, and honestly, that stimulated my interest to start wanting to wrestle. A high school buddy of mine, Chris Lutrell, was an All-American wrestler. I found Chris, and we started wrestling.
We started working together. I was showing him some ground stuff that I knew. He was showing me striking and up fighting.
And I happened to see Greg at a gym on the other side of town, watching this kid teach this kid these classes, these grappling classes, to a bunch of other black belts that were there. And I went, that's what I want to learn right there.
Jackson was way beyond his years. At the age of 23, he had already started his first gym.
During that time, I was at a judo club, and I met Greg Jackson's top belt, Brad Aaronsfield, who was also a police officer. So we hook up. I wouldn't say butt heads right away, but he's like, what guard do you fight out of?
So we started the spar, and he about breaks my neck on something that's kind of strange, kneeling on my head and twisting my neck. It cracks, and I went, dude, what was that?
I just make the guy tap. I don't know what you're talking about.
It was just something I do in wrestling.
So he kind of dismissed me, and
it started right from there, our relationship. Hey, why don't you come over to Jackson's?
He introduced me to Greg. We went in the back, started rolling. Greg came back, introduced himself, and then Greg showed me a few techniques, and I really liked it. So I started training at Greg's gym at Jackson's, and then I introduced Greg to Mike Winklejohn.
It all went from there. Then we found Greg, and then all of a sudden we all started working out together.
We were doing stick and knife fighting. Tuesdays and Thursdays was leg conditioning days, which consisted of us standing in a horse stance and Greg hitting us with a wood stick in the legs. Some strange training. It was good. It was working. Tom Vaughn was another one of the black belts. He wanted to spar. He was always pestering me to spar. He was so nervous about it that when Greg and Chris showed up, he wouldn't let Greg and Chris come in the room. So he had to sit outside of the room. Tom Vaughn and I got inside of the room, and I mauled him. The next day, Tom Vaughn was at the dojo. That became the building block group of the whole style.
Up, down, change your level, and then advance.
Jackson had the mindset that he wanted to be strictly an MMA gym. At the time, there were Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, and striking gyms, but not a pure MMA gym. He had the innovative idea to put it all together.
The time that he started developing his martial art was the time that MMA was sort of developing on a parallel track, and his students talked him into, let's go do this tournament or this fight.
Then all of us went up to Denver and fought a grappling tournament. Kind of the funny days, Greg showing up, borrowing a van from somebody. It's on the snow. He could barely drive in the snow. Here, we're all cutting weight. We're all feeling miserable. Greg's driving, and we're sliding in the snow and get all the way up to Denver and just feeling like shit and having the weigh-ins.
And they were winning. They were doing